You know, all Plankton ever wanted was one customer to go into his restaurant and try and give the customers to try one of his foods. But Mr. Krabs wants to take his business and his fortune and his chance away from him. What a freaking what a freaking jerk Mr. Krabs is. In fact, Mr. Krabs was even more of a jerk throughout this entire episode. Even at the end. He had become so money addicted that and so cold hearted he doesn't show any affection or warmth, sympathy, feeling, or compassion, and he's very proud of himself, torturing Plankton and not letting Plankton get what he wants. With that said, without further ado, cue the intro. Hi, it's me, Disney, Tom and Jerry, The Simpsons, Dookie, and the Magic School Bus Fan 1996 here, and to honor me getting 1,000 subscribers, I am making another SpongeBob episode Rant. It's on Plankton's regular this time. So basically what the plot is, Plankton is complaining that he doesn't have a customer and he whines about it. And then until all of a sudden a customer named Nat comes in and wants to try Plankton's food. Plankton thought that the customer was joking, but he was actually pretty serious. So Plankton gave the customer the chumstick, and he tried it for the first time and he loved it. And he would come back the next day for more. And Plankton had now finally had victory, and he becomes so happy of having a customer. And then Plankton makes the chumstick for Nat until all of a sudden it was closing time, knowing that knowing that Plankton was discouraged, and it concludes him that it was a lie. But until Nat comes, and he comes for more. He will come back the next day and the next week. And Plankton finally has one customer. And he tells Plankton that he has a regular customer on his hands. Meanwhile, at the Krusty Krab, Plankton appears and Mr. Krabs tries to kill him by squishing him. But Plankton didn't die. He actually assured him that there's no need to with each other anymore because he realized that a customer named Nat loves his chumstick and he loves his food, and he was Plankton's very first customer. Mr. Krabs, instead of being delighted or pleased, he just flips out and complains about it. And he tells SpongeBob to go eat at the Krusty Krab. But SpongeBob yet fails. Yeah, Mr. Krabs tries to convince, or actually, SpongeBob actually tries to convince Nat to eat a Krabby Patty at the Krusty Krab, but Nat's like, hell no, I'm not eating this crap. I want to eat a chumstick at the Chum Bucket. Later, loser. And then, most of the plans had been flawed. And then, Mr. Krabs then cries that about Plankton having one customer. And then, later that night, Mr. Krabs tries to sneak into the Chum Bucket to steal Plankton's recipe. But Plankton uses a trap to trap Mr. Krabs. You did very well, Plankton. You actually did a favor because Mr. Krabs is the main antagonist, not you, Plankton. Mr. Krabs is. Especially how much he tortured you throughout the years. You did very well, Plankton. And Plankton is very proud of having one customer. And Mr. Krabs sees the money, and Mr. Krabs freaks out. And then Nat comes in, and Plankton's like, oh, hello there. Back with some more chumsticks. But Nat says, no way. I'm not going there ever again. The deal is off. And turns out that Nat had become sick and he went to the doctors. Apparently Plankton food was crappy, and then Plankton becomes miserable again and he cries and complains, and Plankton's like, oh, woe is me. And then he cries, and Mr. Krabs is gleeful because Plankton's misery. He's gleeful because he lost a customer. Oh my god. That's heartless. That was a very heartless ending. So that's basically what the plot is for the entire episode. I'm sorry if I didn't pronounce it very well, but this was very, very stupid. I don't have anything positive, in case you're wondering, so let's go into the negatives. First of all, why was Mr. Krabs complaining and freaking out? I understand that Plankton and him hate each other, but seriously, Mr. Krabs, why can't you just let Plankton get one customer for a change? All you care about is yourself and, of course, money. You care about the freaking money and you don't care about anyone else but yourself and money. That's all you care about, and you do your best to convince Nat to eat at the Krusty Krab when he wanted to get more chumsticks, and apparently at the end it turns out it tasted like crap. That poor Plankton. Poor Plankton. All he wanted was a customer, and yet Mr. Krabs is delighted to see him suffering in misery. What a lousy, cold-hearted jerk he is, Mr. Krabs. And SpongeBob tries to convince Nat, but he does it very unsuccessfully. And the gross part is they show most of the body parts, which is this supposed to be SpongeBob SquarePants, or is this Happy Tree Friends episode wannabe? Even though I hate Happy Tree Friends, but seriously, is this SpongeBob or Happy Tree Friends episode wannabe? That's terrifying. The scene where SpongeBob's face, that's terrifying. And the way SpongeBob had trapped Karen, what was that all about? And he talked weird as well. Mr. Krabs just flipped out, all because of Plankton having one single customer. That is just beyond outrageous and despicable. When I say outrageous, I mean outrageous in a bad way. Not in a good way, in a bad way. Because how selfish and cold-hearted and abysmal Mr. Krabs really is. Not to mention despicable and cruel. You could have just dealt with the fact that Plankton should have gotten at least a few customers, while you have plenty. You got plentiful customers, Mr. Krabs. Just let Plankton have at least one, or a few. And yet you freak out about it, Mr. Krabs? That's unbelievable of you. And yet he tries to steal Plankton's formula, but Plankton caught him red-handed, and turned out that Nat didn't like Plankton's chumstick because it tasted like crap, and he got sick, and then he went to the doctors to get his stomach pumped. Oh my god. That was a very stupid and abysmal ending. And Plankton, yes, he cries, and he feels miserable about it. I feel so sorry for Plankton. I actually feel sympathy for Plankton, because he wanted at least one customer, yet Mr. Krabs doesn't allow him to have one customer. That's how much he loves to see Plankton's life ruined. That lousy, cold-hearted, despicable, cruel jerk Mr. Krabs is. Sorry about that, guys. Bottom line, this episode was very terrible. So for my final rating for Plankton's Regular, I give this episode a 1 out of 7. Horrendous episode. And that's all I would like to say. Thank you so much for watching this 1,000 subscribers video special. Don't forget to comment, like, and subscribe to me. And be sure to stay tuned for my review on Funny Girl tomorrow. This is me signing off, and I'll see you guys later.